Hey, good afternoon. To introduce myself, I am Raja Lanka, and I had the privilege of working with uh, various data platforms and tools. And in my current role, I lead the cloud platform tech at Morgan Stanley. I've been with the firm for more than 10 plus years now, or a decade. And I'm really looking forward to sharing our journey on what we have done on-prem and how we are tackling this new phase of handling it on cloud.
I'm Nayan Shah. I've been at Morgan Stanley for many years. I'm head of BI enablement for our businesses. I'm looking forward to sharing everything that we've done in our migration to the cloud. And hopefully you guys will take away some good insights from it.
So, as we said, the overall idea is we would like to introduce our firm, Morgan Stanley, and go over some of the real challenges, the real business challenges that we are facing on a day-to-day basis as part of our on-prem existing architecture or existing implementations, and how we have transformed some of these challenges into opportunities using the technology. And we'll also would like to focus on some of the key future initiatives that we are doing as part of this overall journey.
So before we start, we always want to start with introducing our firm and our core values. So some of the things that we are focused on is doing the right thing, putting the clients first, leading with exceptional ideas. We have a really significant commitment to diversity, which I'm really proud of at our firm. And at last, it's giving back. This month is June Volunteer Month at Morgan Stanley. Since 2006, we've donated over 2.6 million volunteer hours to our communities and organizations that we serve. So really proud of that. We're really committed to our clients.
Yeah, thank you, Nayan. And as Nayan said, our core values are much more than what you see on screen here, right? It's about integrity. It's about putting diversity at the forefront of whatever we are doing. And it's about having client at the center of our solutions, or focus on the clients. And the way Morgan Stanley has been positioned is, it's a financial firm which is heavily dependent on data, which in turn derives a lot of value from its technology that is built around the data. So all of this encompasses the most significant journey that we had since a very long time. In addition to this, we'll also like to take you through the overall brief overview of how we as a firm, how we as a financial firm, being the number one in wealth management and number three in institutional side, how we are doing with respect to the overall support across the globe, right?
Yeah. Look, we're a multinational firm. Primarily, we operate in three big segments, which is institutional securities, wealth management, which me and Roger are from, as well as asset management. We operate in over 40 countries, and we have about 70,000 employees plus. So with that, you can imagine the scale and the issues that we have with our data and our data platforms and the support that we need to provide to our business partners and our clients.
So yeah, absolutely, Ryan. So one other aspect I would like to highlight here is there is no downtime, right? So our data is being accessed 24/7, 365 days. There is no in period, or there is no downtime for the data in any given sector. So because of our offices, as Nayan said, more than 41 countries, and people across the globe are accessing the data. And going forward, this data is going to be still accessed from a central location. Like right now, we are on-prem and we are spread across technologies. There are multiple other technologies that are supporting each of these business use cases. And now we are trying to get into a space where we want to create one data model, and all that data is going to reside in one place. And that platform of choice is Snowflake. And we have chosen Snowflake as that. And that's where it's going to become extremely important for us to be able to build that scalable, reliable, and secure platform for all our business use cases. With that said, as Nayan said, we belong to wealth management within Morgan Stanley. And Nayan?
Yeah. So look, this slide really was meant to be just to highlight all the different products and businesses that we serve. We have cash management, we have our advice channels, we now have our self-directed channels. So supporting all of these products in the businesses. There's a lot of data being collected. There's a lot of information that we need to kind of withdraw from that data. So it's a big challenge, and Snowflake is at the heart of helping us solve that challenge.
Absolutely right. Wealth management, as we say, it's one of the fastest growing segments within Morgan Stanley. And in the recent past, what we have done as a firm, we have acquired some major acquisitions across the platform. And now our customer base is coming from different platforms using different UIs, different applications, different versions of the data. And we have to do a consolidated view for them. And it's extremely important that we need to create one data view for them, irrespective of the platform of their current preference, right? So whether it is E-Trade or ShareWorks or the legacy Morgan Stanley systems. As one other thing I would like to highlight here is, as Nayan said, we are number one in the advisory-led wealth management and number 3 in the self-directed wealth management spaces.
Yeah, Raja, I just want to add, between all of our channels, the scope and size of the problem is we probably have over 15 million relationships that we now need to manage. So with all of our different advice channels, the need for a platform that can support that is critical. And again, I'll stress it 1,000 times here, Snowflake is at the heart of that.
So definitely. So we are building an ecosystem. It's not a single solution about just putting data into a central location called Snowflake, but it's about building an ecosystem of the overall architecture. And we are going to, I'm really excited to put it in front of you out here. So let's talk about the next set of challenges, right? So what did this integration from various customer bases, and as Nayan said, 15 million plus customers and one of the fastest growing customer base. And what are the specific challenges at a very high level that were actually originated from this particular integration? So I would say at a very high level, right? So we are talking about the analytics. Most of us know we have been in the data space and we have seen analytics, and we have seen the analytics growing and evolving as we are in this journey. But when it started, anything you take as a basic SQL and run against a data source, that used to be called as an analytics at one point of time, to where we are today, where we are running complex SQLs, Python codes, LLMs, data applications. There is no dearth of what qualifies to be an analytics, advanced analytics, and how we are doing it in real time is the biggest challenge today, because we need to derive those insights as soon as possible. We are not in descriptive analytics mode anymore. We have moved from descriptive analytics to prescriptive and predictive analytics. So that's predictive and prescriptive analytics. We are now in the prescriptive analytics mode. Ryan?
Raja, I just wanted to add, going back even a little bit further than the acquisitions, our story a couple of years ago started with, hey, we needed to give data to some of our business users, our data scientists, and build a platform so they can go do their analytics for senior management. Eventually, we were thinking, we're going to have 25, 50, 75, 100. How many data nerds do we have in our firm? So we're thinking we're going to have a platform that supports about 100 people. Well, lo and behold, within 4 years, it exploded 20x. Next thing you know, I'm calling Raja every night, every day, asking him, why is it slow? Why is it slow? I think my wife was even jealous of our relationship at that point in time. So, look, it was clear, and I was, we were saying to Raja that, look, we need a platform that needs to help us support this. It's ever growing. And as we also saw in the landscape, as we were hiring up and looking at the technical talent that was coming into the firm, where we have kids coming out of there learning SQL, Python already, no matter what discipline they come from, we needed a platform to support those needs for even all of our new colleagues that were coming into the firm.
Absolutely, Nayan. I think I do agree about that. Even my wife has the biggest complaint that I speak more to Nayan than to her. So it goes both the ways, right? So, but again, see, the way analytics have evolved over the time, I would say it is in today solving this problem, this business problem, and the overall complexity of analytics is like it's as intricate as solving a Rubik's cube blindfolded. So that's the key about it, right? So, and that's where And let's also take this moment, okay, maybe a moment of silence and address the elephant in the room, the security and governance. Any tech person's nightmare, right? So it's same for us as well. Our security and governance, you will see the direct impact of it in a few slides, because there's a very interesting slide coming up, a precursor. But the overall security and governance in any financial firm, it's not like saying that the other firms are not as serious, but a financial firm, it becomes an utmost importance. And the way we have set up some of the systems where our business users, as Nayan said, more than 20x, they have grown within a very short period of time, not just the number of people, but overall the complexity of solutions, the number of applications or the languages that they can develop these applications. Now somebody is coding in R, somebody is doing it in Python, PySpark, anything under the sky, we are enabling. And there are a set of users that do not want to write any code. They are the low-code, no-code people who just want to use the drag and drop options of Data IQ platform or some other platforms that are available, and they just want to be able to run the same level of complex analytics. So these are some of the challenges that we are currently facing from the business. And at that point of time, we are also having the same kind of requirements from our security and governance team to be able to report at any given point of time who at this moment is accessing column SSN, for example. It's a highly restrictive column, and they want to know at this moment who are all the people from the business accessing that column, and we need to be able to report that on the spot. And that is the level of governance requirements that we have. And Nayan knows it very well.
Oh, absolutely. We're always getting called for between audits and risk and governance. It's a constant battle, which we need solutions for. And hopefully having Snowflake on board with some of our partners will help us kind of solve a lot of those issues and make it seamless.
Absolutely, Nayan. So with these challenges, right? So we, as I said, we embarked on a journey, what we call as data modernization. That's the big project that we have. The intention was we have close to 7,000 databases that are on-prem, sitting on various technologies, sitting in different firms, not just any one firm, right? As I said, we had E-Trade managing their own infrastructure. We had ShareWorks doing their own infrastructure side, and we had the legacy Morgan Stanley doing their own infrastructure. And data is spread across Hadoop, SQL Server, DB2, Teradata, you name it, and we had it. Okay, and the intention was to create one version of truth. And that version of truth has to be on the public cloud, because, again, the benefits of cloud, elasticity, pay as you go, and all of that, right? So that we wanted to create that version of truth. And we were looking for a partner that can work with us, and we will be able to create not just one database, but a suite of applications or suite of solutions around that will cater to all our business needs, all our use cases. And the biggest thing that we had was to be able to store the data, and that data has multiple classifications. It is confidential data. It is PII, highly restricted PII, and all of this data has to reside on cloud. And the platform of choice for us in this scenario was Snowflake, because believe me, it was the first platform at Morgan Stanley that got approved to host PII data on a public cloud.
Yeah, and Roger, we don't want to give a shout out to all of our partners like Immuta, Data IQ, Calibra, Big ID. We couldn't have done this without them being able to be integrated into our Snowflake platform. So I think it's a big key highlight that we do with all of our partners, and they work so well together with Snowflake. It's really kind of pushed the needle forward for us in our platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the last thing, going here, what we think is we're talking about the marketplace, and you'll hear a lot about that throughout the conference. That's kind of where we see the next evolution of our analytics is being able to leverage that marketplace significantly. Right now, our teams are looking at some of the DMA marketing data out there, as well as we're looking at weather data and trying to incorporate that into some of our models. So it's definitely a key initiative for us and how we can definitely extract the best out of that marketplace.
Absolutely, Nayan. And as Nan said, we have a ton of other products that are closely integrated with Snowflake to give us the whole architecture. And one last thing I would like to touch upon on this slide is we are not just about internal data sharing or internal access. We are about creating data as a commodity where we can share it externally or vice versa, right? We have external sources that are storing or sharing their data with us today. And it involves a lot of FTP files being dropped on our NAS storage and all of that. And we want to move away from that and leverage Snowflake sharing wherever applicable, where our business partners can share the data in real time with us using the shares, reader accounts that we can set up for them on our platform or vice versa, right? So it goes both the ways. So both our data producers as well as data consumers are going to help us share the data amongst ourselves using the Snowflake sharing feature.
Did you just make a pitch for clean rooms? Is that what you did?
So yeah, definitely. Why not? So with that said, let's move on and looking at how did we start this transformation journey? What did we do as part of our overall approach to it? So as of today, we are still an hybrid approach. We are in the hybrid cloud strategy where we have our legacy platform running on-prem. So all the legacy systems which are currently required to run the business as usual, they are on-prem today, but we are looking towards the future where we can start having access to the data much quickly, much faster. Like we are talking about T-2 to T-1 and from T-1 to real time. So this is the overall business transformation that we are targeting as part of the data access.
Yeah, I mean,
you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think we have to understand is, look, we have the data. Even with our recent acquisitions, we have a ton of enriched data. And now the question is, how do we get the best insights out of that data? We know it's in there. It's difficult to do that. We need to get to a platform that can support those analytics, make sure the data is secure, and we can derive it and, actually reduce the time to those analytics.
Absolutely. And that, as part of that feature, what we have done is we also started looking at the other products, as Nayan said. It's not just about having data source on the cloud through Snowflake, but we are also bringing our cataloging onto cloud. We are also bringing our security, the data access security through Immuta onto the cloud. And we are bringing our applications that are being run by our business users onto the cloud.
Yeah, I mean, look, Raj, I think one thing you didn't highlight is I'm a past finance guy, so consumption-based pricing is very critical to us, making sure that our resources are being spent in the right way, and then we're getting the most out of our assets. So I think, getting into that, and I got more questions for you later about that later.
Absolutely. So that's one other important aspect, right? So pay-as-you-go model. You do not have to acquire a big set of hardware and keep it out there and not use it. So that's one other thing. And Ryan, don't forget, we are now able to spend a lot more time innovating on the product rather than doing run stats, reorgs, and taking backup and recovery and stuff like that, right? So you do not have to do any maintenance on some of these products, not just Snowflake, but other products as well, but especially Snowflake, where we are targeting to store petabytes of data. And that's where the zero maintenance aspect of Snowflake is helping us. Now we are able to spend that time or focus our time onto the things that matter with respect to innovation, with respect to deriving business value, or giving them the time they need to optimize their processes and automation. That is another aspect that we are keenly focused on.
No, I think it's a key point, Raja, is making sure that our resources are freed up from, instead of supporting the platform, is pushing it forward. I don't think we talked about all the initiatives where we're leveraging technology and our tech resources to make sure we're driving forward. Did we even say AI yet?
Not
yet. Oh, yeah, we should say that. So driving AI and ML ops and all that other good stuff.
So someone told me that every time you mention an AI, people are going to take a shot.
So I'll be first in line.
So that said, the phase, we have divided it into majorly to two phases. As part of phase one, what we are doing is we are currently moving data from our curated data sources onto Snowflake. Whether it could be, an example here is Hadoop, and there are other platforms where the data is coming from their source systems and being curated, and we are taking that data and moving it to Snowflake so that we can run all our major use cases from Snowflake. And second phase where we eventually would like to go is we want to move the source system, SORs, directly to Snowflake, perform the whole curation, integration, application layers, everything, all of that on Snowflake, and deliver one platform, which is going to be Snowflake, one data platform.
Yeah, I think the only thing we want to highlight here is, the challenge is significant. It's like changing the tires on a moving car. So as we're kind of making sure that we're promoting analytics and we're getting to solve the use cases of today, we're also making sure that we're set up for the future. And that takes time and a lot of resources. But I think we have the right structure and operation model in place.
Yeah, absolutely, Nayan. As Nayan said, this is like changing a tire on a moving car, right? So is that the only way you can solve this? No. Every business is unique. Every business's needs are unique. And this is the way we found that we will be able to deliver. Like one of the things that's not here is any new system that we are trying to build, any new application, any new data source that we are trying to onboard goes to Snowflake. We have put a stop on that, and we said we don't want to incur any more tech debt. And we wanted to stop it at a given point of time, and we have drawn a line and said, that's enough. Now let's start building on cloud. Anything new goes to cloud by default. So how did we do, and what do we do is the next part of the story. Again, the idea was to do a transformation for our customers. That is, one, transparent to the users. None of them have to know that underneath they are being their data is being transformed. Their data is being merged with other sources, and we are moving them from different platforms to a single platform. All of this was transparent to users. And second, it was to give them a seamless experience, whether their UI, if they are using a particular application today and connecting to the data source, and that will still continue. We are not trying to change their UIs, or we are not trying to ask them to move between different applications. The application will remain same, but the underlying experience is what we are targeting as a first step.
Yeah, again, we want to highlight that it's managing over 15 million relationships, and it's ever growing, and all the touch points around those relationships, and making sure that we have the right data to the right channel so we can provide the best service.
Absolutely. And also would like to mention that we have done this in phases, right? We recently completed a phase 2 where we targeted close to 4 million customers, and we had a very good success story there we would like to talk about. But moving forward, I would like to give you a view of our overall data modernization effort. So Nayan, I think we are finally on the slide. You like it.
Oh yeah, this is the one that confuses me all the time. So,
okay. But the idea here is, as we have been discussing, right? The idea here is to create one platform for data that is going to have a significant impact on the availability of data for business. What is the lead time for market, and how do we reduce it in any given scenario? How do we talk to business and understand their requirements and reduce the overall time to market and at the same time give them the capability to run their low code, no code templates. As I said, majority of our business users are non-tech people with a business understanding, but they don't want to sit down and write complex code. For one example I would like to give you here is, we are partnered with Snowflake, and we are using Snowpark. That connectivity between the existing on-prem platform, we are using Snowpark to connect to Snowflake, where Snowflake will be our external compute. We can push down the overall end-to-end workflows and recipes from on-prem using the Snowpark connectivity onto Snowflake, and the processing is happening next to the target. We are not fetching the data out, but we are pushing the processing into Snowflake. So that's one of the examples. And we are doing multiple things like that, but the idea here is to run the processing as close to target as possible. So that's the most efficient way we have discovered. And business users are extremely happy about the capability to now run their workflows without any major code changes, right? So these workflows and recipes were designed for Hadoop, and now they are able to seamlessly transition them to Snowflake and run them without any major changes.
Yeah, I mean, Roger, look, for the business, it's, people, process, and platform for sure. But it's really about, to sum it up, is removing that friction to innovation. It's our business users that are going to be able to innovate. We need to provide a platform for them and an ability for them to be seamless so they can access the data and they can do all the analytics that they need to support our clients.
Absolutely, Nayan. And the second, as you said, Nayan, the second one is a process. As once again, the process involves a lot of change with respect to the overall data lifecycle management and how we are trying to deliver governance as a service, where we can have a decentralized ownership, data ownership. We don't want to centralize the data ownership. The data ownership will be a decentralized one, but the governance will be a centralized effort, where it will be driven by the centralized team with the required best practices and the policies that are required. And for that, what we have done is we have built a data operations team that includes the data governance, data quality, and application subject matter experts. And that data ops team, along with the ML ops team, which again, drum roll, AIML. So the AIML comes into the play here because we are running our machine learning models with the data that is stored on Snowflake. And all of this come together as a service and offer us the overall governance as a service platform. And it helps us deliver the kind of business value that we are targeting for our business. And last but not the least, people. As Nayan said, it's tough. It's tough when you are working with people and they're asked to change platforms. And with this I would say, spread out architecture that we have built and the multiple tools and products that we have onboarded, what we are trying to do is we are trying to let the users or let the data scientists community to use the platform of their choice. We have definitely defined the guidelines and we are trying to enforce those guidelines through their options, right? So, for example, if you want to use Data IQ, you are a low-code, no-code person coming in from the business side, you can use a platform, Data IQ, which will still connect to cloud and offer you the same experience as another person who is directly connecting to Snowflake and writing a complex SQL. So that's the kind of seamless experience we are trying to deliver.
Yeah, no, look, it's all about the personas, right? We have our business users, we have our data scientists, we're going to have our prompt engineers and all the other things that are coming down the pipeline, and making sure we have a agile platform that people can go on, whether it's using Data IQ, whether it's going native right into Snowflake, all those things are, at our fingertips now. And I don't ever want to leave out the governance and Calibra and Immuta and all of that other good stuff that our risk partners are looking forward to. So, I mean, it's something that we need.
Absolutely, Nayan. So moving on, this is the overall architecture diagram that we have. Again, it's a very generic diagram that we have created for ourselves because I'll tell you, this and the next slide is where I was trying to connect it back to you. You should have seen these two slides before. Our risk team, corporate communications, governance, tech BD, and the business had a go at it. So these were the 5 or 6 teams that reviewed these two slides, and they kept pushing it back to me. Oh no, this is not acceptable. So go change it. So I had to generalize it as much as possible. And you should see the next slide. It's really very good slide.
Yeah, this is my favorite slide. It had a ton of pictures. It had a lot of stuff in here, I think it had mine and Raj's picture in here too, but by the time it got through risk governance and everyone else, this is what we got back.
This is the only one that they would approve. and in a timely fashion. And I know my Snowflake executive is sitting here, and she was on my case. She said, Raja, you have to upload the slides. And I said, I don't have clearance. I am going through review. And the review went on and on and on. And I realized, okay, it was a lightning moment for me. And I realized, okay, should I rename this like this? And I put it forward, and they said, oh, upload, perfect, go for it. But again, very high level, right? So what we are doing is we are trying to build a one data platform. As I said, our intention is to have Snowflake at the center of this overall architecture, but at the same time, we are so kind of encompassing it with all the other tools like Colibra, Immuta, Big ID, and we have our own homegrown tools like which we use for our own SDLC lifecycle management, user onboarding, all of that. And the beauty is we were able to integrate not just our homegrown tools, but the other vendor tools as well in this overall architecture and deliver one data modernization architecture that we are targeting. Ryan, do you like this?
Yes.
Well, I want you to focus on the sandbox.
Yes, I am a big fan. I'm not a big fan of the temp space. It's a sandbox user space. But look, in all seriousness, this is where all of our users go in there. It's production quality data. They're able to get in there, leverage all the tools that we've set up and a platform to support all their analytical use cases. I mean, we really believe that you should see the growth within our business of the hiring that's going on. They're getting a lot of data analysts to go into this platform so they can kind of spark innovation right here. This is where all the ideas come from in our sandbox space, where we give the business users, all the access to production quality data. And I think this is a key point to have as we promote our platform.
Absolutely, Nayan. And the beauty is, again, Nayan and his team, they are close to 1,500 business users that come onto these systems, and they are operating using the production quality data, the full-blown production system. And we create views for them. They take those views and create their own versions of the data. Of course, depending on their authorization and the authentication and authorization, right? Which is controlled by the sector E here, as you can see, data access controls that we have built using some native Snowflake features like data discovery and integrating them with other tools like Colibra, which is our data catalog, firm-wide data catalog, which manages the entire firm, like whether it is on-prem or on cloud. And the third one is Immuta, which we are using to define those data policies that govern at a column level, which user has access to what data, and that is governed through all these, the combination of these three products.
Yeah, I mean, Roger, the other thing I would add is, in the sandbox, when we're collaborating, it's no longer us giving the requirements to technology. Now we are even driving the curation and the setup and eventually creating our own library tables, which eventually we hand it off back to tech to make sure that they are productionalized. So that having that sandbox for me is a key factor. We live and die and breathe in that space.
Absolutely. Just so you know, don't die there. but rest of it, yes, you live and you operate there, and that's something where our data growth happens on production. Our users create close to 12 to 15,000 tables on the fly, sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis. Then the number is very high, and they are able to create that in the production space because they want the capability to run those experimentations very fast, fail very fast, learn very fast, and re-experiment again. So all of their data models, all of their modeling, experimentation, everything runs on production using the production quality data, just because we have Snowflake and its integrated tools that are giving us the security that we need when we are operating with the highly restricted PII data. Once again, back to the beautiful slide. But I just want to draw your attention to one thing. Whatever capabilities and the major disciplines that we have today on-prem, we are trying to build them on cloud. it is definitely not a lift and shift. We are not doing that. We are refactoring, we are redesigning, and we are retiring if required in some of these areas. Say, for example, business objects, we have it on-prem, but on cloud, we are retiring it. We are not taking business objects to cloud, but we are trying to do something else in terms of Power BI or Tableau. These are some of the examples of how we are doing it.
You just scared me.
I know they have close to thousands of 4,000 or 5,000 reports.
Yeah, 5,000 reports sitting on BO, so we need to
move
cut
them.
come up with a plan.
So yeah, definitely. But that's how we are building the ecosystem. For these are the use cases. Again, some of these use cases are really forward looking, and I would say they are most of the fast follower items, especially something like what we do for data sharing, internal and external. Okay, and going through our requirements and getting that implemented within Morgan Stanley is a nightmare for us, the tech folks, because we have to go through multiple reviews. But the good thing is we are able to do all of that because Snowflake offers us the capability to do it online in a secure environment. By the way, we run our Snowflake in a VPS account. So that comes with additional challenges. I know he's laughing, he's smiling over here. But that's the choice of platform that we had, and we wanted our data to be in its own boundaries, and that's the reason we went ahead with the VPS account.
Yeah, and if you've heard of and kind of follow the news about us, this is where our genome effort comes into play, where it's driving our personalization efforts around our digital platforms. It's a massive undertaking with a lot of digital touch points that we are trying to curate, organize, and make sure we're delivering the right service. It's the same for our advisor channel with Next Best Action. We're providing our advisors with the right information at the right time so they can deliver, the best investment advice to their clients. And it's their ability, especially during COVID, to scale their engagement and have those deeper connections with their clients. So really, the things that we're doing and the things that we're creating are having a major impact on our business, in addition to some of the other things like regulatory and financial reporting, which...
Yeah, so just to give you some idea about the numbers, right? The machine learning model that Nayan just referred, Genome, it's all over the news. You can read about it, but it has more than 2,000 attributes that have been fed into the system, and we have gone through billions of billions of experimentation on that, billions of rows that we have created, and we chose the top 30 ideas that are best for the customers. So instead of doing a market-based approach where we used to target a market, given that these people are qualifying to be in this bracket called a market-based, we are now going to an individual-based marketing, where we are figuring out what is the best idea for this person, what is the best time to reach the person, the customer, and what is the best medium to reach the customer. So that's the level of the customization that we have done. And last but not least, talking about the overall visualization and the traditional BI, we run close to 350,000 reports on a daily basis using our visualization platforms, and all of that is going through Snowflake today. We are transitioning over, and we are seeing a significant improvement in the performance. I would say it is close to 2x in most of the cases, and close to 5x in some of the cases, some of the exceptional cases. So that's the kind of performance uptick we have.
Yeah.
So with that said, now looking towards the future, again, what's the bet that we are going to use some buzzwords that you have been hearing? LLMs. Does that qualify to be a buzzword?
AI, LLMs, MLOps, you name it.
MLOps, yes. So the idea here is what we are trying to do is we are trying to create data as a commodity. We want to be able to commoditize our data, which we are sharing with the external vendors, and that's one of the use cases that we think that Snowflake is going to help us. Again, marketplace, as Nayan said, in some time in the future, we will be able to launch our data onto the marketplace for our consumers to be able to consume it from the marketplace, given the required security and other things are in place, and our security architecture team approves it. So that's it. But one other last aspect I would like to really draw your attention towards is the overall data science community. It is one of the fastest growing communities within Morgan Stanley. Again, some numbers, right? 900. It is growing 10x, 20x. And the complexity with which they are operating and the requirements from them are fast, like with respect to the overall. Am I still audible? Oh, yeah. Okay, so with the respect to overall capabilities in terms of using specialized warehouses that are being built for some of these workloads. And that's where I believe the data science community is going to have a field day on Snowflake using the data at one place.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is at a different angle, right? We're looking to simplify as well so we can get increased adoption and we can get business users back into using their analytics. I mean, in the future, in a few years out, we're already talking with a lot of our business partners in a lot of the product areas on how they can leverage LLMs and stuff. So I think what we need to do is we're making sure that we have a platform that can support all those workloads that we foresee coming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And maybe it's a surprise for mine. We are doing a POC, pilot project, I would say, where we are building NLP-based querying on Snowflake. And it's a custom built. It's not something we have picked up from the marketplace or anything, but we are trying to try out something where we are able to now query the data using NLP. Key takeaways, Ryan. Take it first.
Well, look, I think here when you look at it, it's know your use cases. You want an integrated platform that scales, a robust ecosystem, and lastly, being set up for the future. I mean, I just talked about it before. We feel like in a couple of years, we'll be doling out LLMs for every business and handing them, and they'll be coming to us to leverage everything. To do that, I don't want to be in the place that I was 5 years ago where the platform I have doesn't support that. And we are scaling for the future, so making it future-proof.
Absolutely, Nayan. So one thing I would like to add here is, I believe most of us do know this. Before us, much before us, we people got into tech. People used to get into tech, learn one technology, and spend the rest of their life supporting that. And that has changed. We are in a space where technology changes every single day, if not more. I would say it's changing much more than that because it's changing by the hour, but at least it's changing. And that's where I think we have to deliver. We are trying to build an ecosystem with Snowflake at the center and all the other products around it. And it's going to continue to grow and change and adopt. Thank you for your time. We are here to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.